good song, good spirit. All of these are great blessings.
Amen.
Sing these songs and then know what you're singing about.
Right.
Let's have a word of prayer as we get started here. Our Father in heaven, in Jesus' name, we thank you for the opportunity to again assemble together, share our hearts and thoughts and minds and voices and our time together. We appreciate this blessing. And now for a little while, come give us instruction. Open up our heart and mind that we may understand truth, that we may understand the more clearly the nature and character of Jesus Christ the Son, and give us a fresh new sense of God and good and faith and purpose and meaning and heaven and all these great themes. So now, Lord, come, settle in here, give us your Spirit, the help of your Spirit, and we claim such in the name of Christ. Amen, amen. Praise the Lord. Well, you can always learn something from everybody. Whether they succeeded or not, you can still learn something. Whether they're here in the land of the living or not, you can still learn something. So let's keep our hearts open, our minds open, and let the Lord speak to us through the course of our Sunday school and home experiences and revivals and church, wherever. Keep open to learn. Keep open to learn. Keep open to grow. I think Brother Clinton mentioned that in a prayer this morning, that we can grow, develop. Amen. We have to. We have to change. We have to grow. We have to develop, or we start to lose ground. Amen. So help us, Lord, to learn. You can learn something from any born-again Christian. Even if they don't believe exactly like you, if you keep your mind open, you can learn something. If nothing else, how not to do something. How not to cross an icy pond, or drink hot coffee without remembering it's hot. You can learn something. Always learn something. Lord, help us to learn and grow. In your Bibles in 2 Peter. In your Bibles in 2 Peter. Now, when you have big problems and big issues facing you, and they're very real and causing you difficulty and heartache, confused and don't quite know how to progress, remember this about problems and issues. There is no cleansing power in them. Now, that's not a clear statement, I know, but I want to clarify there. There is no cleansing power in the size of anyone's problems, no matter how large. The size of a person's problem often becomes the block that keeps them from getting the help of God. And in order to get the help of God, you're going to have to submit to God. You're going to have to concede and submit to God. And so a lot of submission is required in this matter of learning God, growing in grace, developing personally, so that you can get to a point where someone can learn something from you. But it all begins, first of all, that we submit ourselves. Submit to Him. And a lot of times it's a problem, a big problem usually, that keeps a person from submitting to God for the help that He can give. And it goes something like this when you hear it. Well, you don't know what I've been through. No, I don't. I probably have not even been close to what you've been through. But I do know this, there is no cleansing power in your problem, or in the size of your problem. And a lot of times in the Christian field and in the Christian fellowship, God's people stop growing as they come up against the problems in themselves, in their families, in their relationships, in their church, in their work, whatever. They come up against problems, and that's where growth stops. But growth usually stops at a problem. And it stops at a problem because we can't submit ourselves to God with that problem.
Right.
Just can't. And so as long as we hold out on that, we usually, most of the time, if we're talking about an individual of faith, they'll go right on with the singing, right on with the Bible reading, right on with the prayer, right on with the preaching, right on with the teaching, right on with the instructing, and on. They just keep right on going. But they actually stop cold at the problem. And somewhere, somehow, we got to learn that it's going to be submission. It's going to be submission and submitting that problem to God before we can move on. And it's funny, too, in this sense, because all the rest of us develops. You know, we expect as we go along eventually to get white hair. If you live long enough, you get to get white hair. We expect that to happen, don't we? We know that's going to happen, so we expect it to happen. And we go right on growing. Well, we go on developing. We go on getting older. And we expect other things to happen too. Slow down a little bit. Joints maybe not quite the same. All those things go on. But faith, you can't really tell. Soul, you can't really tell if the person's moved on. Because the language is the same, they look the same, they do all the outward things the same, and it sounds good, it sounds right, but only God knows if there's a problem that has not been submitted. But it's easy in that kind of a situation to let the problem be your cleansing. So, well, the Lord knows what I've been through, and they just keep right on going, developing and working everything else. But it's got to come to a point to where we take the problem and submit it. Submit ourselves to God for that. Because there's no cleansing in the problem itself. No cleansing in the problem itself. Remember that. No cleansing in the problem itself. It's going to have to be submitted to God, and then God can come and do the kind of work that needs done. So, the Lord help us here. 2 Peter, in the 3rd chapter, and let's read it, verse 10, shall we? 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 10. But the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, in the which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. The earth also, and the works that are therein, shall be burned up. Seeing then that all these things shall be dissolved, that means everything we know that life is today. All the things earthly, remember that. Everything earthly has a life, and then it's gone. Churches have a life. It comes to an end and it's gone. Schools have a life, and they're gone. Movements have a life, and they're gone. Empires have a life, and then they're gone. Nations have a life, and one day they're gone. People have a life, and one day it's gone. Everything earthly is gone. Everything earthly will be gone. So then, what then? Well, then there's only what is of eternal that's left. That's all that's left, is what is eternal. Seeing then that all these things shall be dissolved, so then he says, so, with that in mind, here's what you ought to be considering. What manner of persons ought you to be in all holy conversation and godliness? So, that's where we're going to have to give our attention to. So, if all these things are gone, what's left? What's left is eternal, spiritual. That's what's left. And if you don't give time and attention properly to these, then all you're going to do is get old and pass away and lay there and sleep until all the rest of it's burned up altogether. But your soul lives on. And was that taken care of? Was that taken care of? So then, Lord help us. And I'm saying all this to say this. Most of the time, we are letting a problem that is of an earthly nature hold us back from having the kind of spiritual life that we could have. Most of the time, it's an earthly problem that has got us stopped cold. We've gone ahead and gotten old. We've gone ahead and built our homes. We've gone ahead and bought our cars. We've gone ahead and raised our kids. But many times it's that one big problem that a person just fails or is not willing to submit to God to deal with and eliminate and give the cleansing in your own heart to get past that. And most of the time it's of an earthly nature. What do you mean earthly nature? Well, relational. Relational. Most people, they grew up in life with every degree of relational involvement in home life. A lot of it not good. A lot of it not good. Some had a good upbringing. Others had a miserable, lousy upbringing. But it doesn't matter. Whatever degree it is what you are. And if you're stopped cold somewhere in that process of having been born and raised and grew up and went on into life, and you're stopped cold there and you can't get the kind of spiritual victory and freedom and liberty that we often preach and talk about and sing about, but we know if it's not there or not, then that's what we got to get to God in submission. That's what we got to get to God. Everything earthly is going to be gone one day, and what's left is your soul. What's left is your spiritual nature. What's left is that is eternal, that God created in His image. He is eternal. What He creates in His image is also eternal, which is you and me. Help us, Lord. So, everything earthly will come to an end. What is the main overall focus and effort of our living and dreaming then? Living and dreaming there. Well, I guess we better think about this. Everything earthly is going to be gone up in smoke and done away with. What's left is that is in the image of God, which we can give attention to, which we can allow for Him to come and give help. What is the main overall focus and effort of our living and dreaming? Are you consumed with everything earthly and spiritual matters very little? Why would that be? Well, why it is because our problem is our cleansing. That's the problem. Your problem that's got you stopped up is your cleansing. Well, you say, well, that's no cleansing at all. You're right. It's no cleansing at all. So why let it hold you back from getting rid of it? Why let it hold you back from making the kind of progress that you could make spiritually? There's a lot of people been around the movement for 30 and 40 and 50 years, and they're still stopped cold. They still don't know the freedom and liberty of a soul set free, but they got all the motions down. They got the words down. They got the songs down. They got the actions down. They got the living down. They got everything down right, but they're still not free. And that's why they're sour and cold and dead and dry, but they keep trying to drum it up. Stop cold by an earthly problem that needs submitted to God.
Sure, that's right.
You say, well, that doesn't really sound too complicated. It really isn't. It really isn't. If you get stopped at the security counter there at the airport, and say, we need to check something. I lost one of those little tools too one time. Or maybe it was my wife. Anyway, they say, you know what's the simplest way to deal with those guys? Open your purse and dig it out and give it to them. That's the simplest way to handle it. There's even a more simple way to handle those kind of problems. Before you leave home, eliminate everything that can cause you a problem at the gate. Right? If you're up and down and dead and miserable most of the time in trying to serve the Lord, then get back to that earthly problem that has become such a big problem and keeping you from growing spiritually. Yeah. I'll tell you something else. If you're growing spiritually, you will become an influence and a lifter of other people. If you can't lift other people, it's because you got a problem deep enough down there that's holding you back from becoming a builder, a soul winner, a winner of hearts, an encourager, a lifter. He said, well, I thought that was the preacher's job. No, it's the Christian's job.
Amen.
If I wasn't a preacher, I'd still be required of God to be a lifter of hearts. Amen. So, you see, it kind of becomes real critical that we ask the Lord, Lord, come in. I've been given all my attention to earthly things, earthly problems. My earthly problems have become my cleanser. That means then it's still there then. Help us, Lord. So, are we giving priority to the state of being and the progress of our spirit's condition? Our spiritual condition can be measured by your ability and attention to winning the hearts of people. Now, you say, well, I'm not very good at that. That's okay. It's probably just a humble admission. I'm not very good. But if you get your heart right, you will become acceptable, maybe even great. Amen. Help us, Lord. I'm not talking like I'm just high above him. I'm saying this because that's how it is. Amen. That's how it is. Spiritual problems are microscopic to us because we don't want to see them. That's why we just don't want to see them. So we kind of make them as tiny as possible until we want to use them to hide behind them. We make them real big. Otherwise, they're microscopic. But they're still an issue. So the Lord help us. You got to give attention to this, folks. You can't just go right on growing old and getting white hair and not giving attention to spiritual life. Yeah. A lot of us are just marching right on, getting our white hair. Badges of glory. Only so. If you feel good and your heart is good. Praise the Lord. You know, my mom is not well. She's getting weaker. As of my dad's last talk on the phone here last week. He says she's not as strong as when you were last here. We weren't down there very long ago. And she wasn't strong then. And she's not as strong as when you were here last. And he said, oh man. That makes me feel bad. But you know, when we were down there, they still had that within them to want to help people. And so we were needing prayer, and I said, I'll tell you what, Dad, Mom, we want you guys to pray for us. We want you to pray for us. We got burdens and we got issues that we're dealing with and battling. We want you to pray for us. So they took our hand and made a prayer. Strong as best as what they could. Still doing the job of winning hearts and lifting. Help us, Lord. We're spending a lot of time on the issues that don't really truly set us free and give us power to win hearts. Help us. We got to give attention to our state of being, progress of our spirit's condition. We must arrest our attention from the scream and urgency of daily earthly problems and then assess the root problems that underlie all our other problems. So this is not a condemnation. This is the fast-paced life in which we live. We have to do our work. We have to do our jobs. We have to do our shopping. We have to do all the things that maintain living and life. And in the process of all that, we're going to have to section off that period of time or that kind of time or that quality of time that it takes to get our inner heart taken care of and filled and dealt with by God and lifted and strengthened and cleansed and not let our problems be our cleanser. I got too big of problems to be taking time to go to church. Well, that's a real reversal of value. What you find, or what you should find at church, is the very thing that you need to deal with your problem. Help us, Lord. We must arrest our attention from the scream and the urgency of the daily earthly. It's all going up in smoke and won't be here one day. We better find out what is still going to be here when all that happens and give attention there. It doesn't mean we become negligent and sloppy. It just means we start to put things in order of importance. Put things in order of importance. Amen. We talk about that. I saw there where somebody had posted a note there and said, Wednesday is fast and pray day for this Supreme Court justice issue. And did anybody fast and pray?
No.
What?
No.
No. Well, one brave soul said no. Any other brave souls? Is it important or not? Is it important or not?
Yes.
How much fasting actually was there across the nation for that? Was it important? Was it important? Was it important? Was it important? Was it a big deal? Those of you who understand the nature and character of all these things understand it's a real big deal. Unless you want to be a part of a thriving, lively, underground church. Is that what you want? Oh, Lord help us. That's right. So, was there any action taken? Was it taken to heart? Was this that is of a far-reaching, powerful influence on everybody? Was it taken seriously enough to be put into motion to actually do? Or was the scream of all the earthly drowning everything out? And the cleansing power of your big problem standing in the way? No. Help us, Lord, to be able to put things in motion that have significance for eternal. Amen. Arrest our attention from the scream of the earth. Then assess our root problems that underlie all our other problems. How can we prove that spiritual matters are really a priority within us? How can we prove that we own our problems and are doing something about our problems? How can we do that? Well, what do you actually do about them? What are you actually doing? And we can go back again. Let's go back again to that little word there. Submission. Submission. Take that problem and submit it to God and quit using the problem as your cleanser. Quit using your problems as your cleanser. You say, how do you know it's like that? I've talked to hundreds of people through my time as working with people. And over 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 again. As you're working with an individual, you'll find out that they're not willing to submit to God because they're not willing to get the problem out and let it be dealt with by truth. So what that means is the problem is their cleanser. The problem is what's making them feel righteous. Their problem is what's making them feel secure. Their problem is what is making them feel like they're superior to you even. Their problems make me superior. My problem makes me superior so I can tell you what to do. What to be or not to be. My problem gives me cleansing power. Power! My problem gives me power! A lot of people's problems are giving them power, and that's why they're so heady and high-minded. Help us, Lord. Earthly, don't let the earthly become your God and your master. God wants to deal with that and take care of that. Peter gives us 3 checkpoints there in his writing. As you go down through there, he talks about be diligent to be at peace within. Be diligent to be at peace within. Well, what do you have to do to be diligent to be at peace with them? Well, let's put it like this. Absence of conflict. Absence of conflict. Does that bring peace? Absence of conflict. When your children are misbehaving and throwing things at each other, and screaming, and scratching, and kicking, and what are you trying to do? Well, you try to stop the fight, right? And get them to that. You get them to that nice little mode of absence of conflict. Absence of conflict. Yeah. As soon as you get home, you couples, as soon as you get home and the frying pans start flying, and the brooms and mops start flying, and the spuds and the carrots and the meat starts flying back and forth, and you're ducking and dodging, you know? Well, you say, how can I get order here? Well, absence of conflict. Absence of conflict begins with number one. Absence of conflict begins with number one. Yeah. Deal with the conflicts. Get rid of the conflicts. Do your best to be at peace. Amen. Do our best to be at peace. Now, if I have a war with my wife, everybody doesn't need to know that. You say, oh, have you ever had any wars? Oh, okay. Yeah. But we don't talk about those wars. You ever had any wars in your marriage? They're smiling real pretty. That means yes. Oh, raise eyebrow. That means yes. Little Rob, he's smiling big. That means we had big. Everybody. Everybody. We got it. And we always think, absence of, we got to get to that state of being absence of conflict. Absence of conflict. You can do that. Give attention to it. It has eternal significance. It has eternal significance. Absence of conflict. Peace within. Another checkpoint that Peter gave us was without spot. Without spot. I talked about this before about my daughter here who learned a cleaning job. They called it, what do they call it? Marinades. They didn't just go in there and kind of get a quick wipe and wipe everything down real quick with a swish of broom. Man, they got in there and they did what the cleaners call deep cleaning. Almost like getting a toothbrush and getting into the corners. Woo! Really got down in there. Cleaned it all up. Deep cleaning. Well, you say, wow, what do we do? Deep cleaning means you wipe out everything that's not Christ. Wipe out everything that's not Christ. Wow. Is it kind of simple like that? Pretty much. Pretty much. But you think about that, he would look at a situation, look at a bunch of people there, and walk right into it, and he would find who was looking for peace with him. He would find who was hungry and searching, and he would feed them. And there was some there listening too who weren't hungry and searching, but he fed them anyway. He fed them anyway. It was in his nature and character to feed people love and truth. Whatever keeps you from feeding other people, spiritually and emotionally, those two things are intertwined inseparably, spiritual and emotional. And if you can't feed one, then you can't feed the other either. If you can't feed spiritual, you can't feed emotional. If you can't feed emotional, you can't feed spiritual. That's what Jesus did. Jesus would walk into a situation, so, well, these cats look hungry. Bring the loaves and the fishes. And what do you start feeding them? Hey, Jesus was emotional. That was a part of his earthly nature. He took it on to help us to understand what the Son of God is and what he wants to be and what we need to be and what we can be. Praise the Lord. Yeah, that might even help a lot of cold shouldering. You think maybe? Maybe. Deep cleaning, what is not Christ? Deep cleaning is revealed in the daily outward. So, if you're used to sassing people, You mean ugly? Well, just because you're impatient, just because you're hiding behind your big problem that you're cleansing, that's got to stop. Help us, Lord. Then a third one, we'll close with this. He gave us another checkpoint. He said, blameless. Blameless. Do our best to do good and do right. Do your best, and then you can stand on that. And in the process of doing your best, if you fail, do your best to reconcile it. If you fail, do your best to straighten it up. That's all that you can do. That's all that you can do. Do your best, and if it fails, do your best to reconcile it, and then get back up, dust yourself off, make whatever adjustments you need to make, and move on. Move on. Don't ever quit. Don't ever quit. So then, seeing that all these things shall be burned up, then what manner of person ought we to be? What ought we to be giving our attention to? Since all this earth is going to be burned up, then let's get it submitted to God. Get it submitted to the Lord. Let Him deal. Let Him cleanse. Help us to become winners of hearts. Winners of hearts. Emotional people. But spiritual people. Praise the Lord. Well, let's be encouraged. We'll bow in prayer. Our Father in heaven, come now, settle in here with us. Give us understanding of Christ. Fresh and new and powerful. And then, Lord, give us a love of God, a love for people, love for souls, a love for truth, a love for righteousness, a love for one another. And then, Lord, answer prayer for people we are concerned for, burdened for, praying about, praying for. We need God. We need good. We thank you for helping us as a nation in many ways. But, Lord, we got a big pile of problems that still need help. Help God's people, praying people, God-fearing people to bow the knee and submit to Thee. So help us today. Come settle in here with us. Honor us with your presence and your special help. Amen. In Jesus' name, amen.